Hey guys, I'm Trina and this is my spoiler-free full duology review of The Six of Crows, the duology by Leigh Bardugo. The first book is Six of Crows and the second book is Crooked Kingdom. If you have not read this series yet, hopefully this video will give you kind of an idea of if it's one that you want to start or maybe skip. But if you want to hear more of my thoughts on each of these individually, I did talk about my thoughts on Six of Crows in my February wrap-up video, and I just uploaded a full spoilery review of Crooked Kingdoms discussing my thoughts on that one. These books are set in the same world or universe as Leigh Bardugo's first series, her Grisha trilogy. If you're wondering if you need to read the Grisha trilogy before you start the Six of Crows series, my answer to that is yes, unless you just don't really care about the first one. Like, if you don't care about the Grisha trilogy, if it's not something that's going to interest you, don't worry about reading all those 3 books before starting this one. But if you're worried about being spoiled for things that happen in the first series, yeah, Six of Crows is going to spoil you on some outcomes. Particularly, it will tell you who lives, who dies, who's in charge, all that kind of stuff. I think that you could get away with reading the first book, just Six of Crows, without that knowledge of the Grisha trilogy, because all the references in the first book, you're not going to recognize those names to know what you're picking up on. However, near the end of Crooked Kingdom, former characters from the Grisha trilogy come into play a lot, and yeah, I think there's no way to avoid spoilers. But the plots really don't rely on each other, and I think that you could read the Six of Crows books independently if you want to. So the summary of the Six of Crows duology is that this is a land where some people, some nations have magic, others don't. There are these long histories of these countries and nations being at war with each other. There's a lot of prejudice between the peoples of these different countries, and we're following characters from all different backgrounds. And these characters find themselves having to come together and work together in order to break a guy out of prison. And the reason that he needs to be broken out of prison is because he is the only person that might have the antidote to this mysterious drug that has started spreading throughout the land that is giving magic users unbelievable amounts of power. And they need to stop this because it's a big threat to the entire world and to their magic system. It is a heist story. That's really how the first book is sold and pitched. I do agree with that. It is about a heist. However, I'm just going to move straight into some things that I disliked about the series overall. Overall, I feel like it being sold as a heist story, while very accurate and true, I feel like that causes the first book to be difficult to get into, or at least it did for me. I've heard a lot of people saying that because you don't get to the heist until over halfway through in Six of Crows. The first part of it is just a whole lot of character development, and I did not like the way in which the character development was done, because you meet the characters and almost straight away you get flashbacks of them. And that does make sense. You get to know the characters, you know, from the ground up. But for me, it worked against me getting attached to the characters because I didn't yet know them enough. I wasn't attached enough to care about where they were coming from. I wanted to see them in the moment and be like, this is a character I want to get to know more, and then have that information be revealed. So for me, I didn't really like how the characters were developed, even though in the end I really did like the characters. I did have a few things that I really didn't enjoy about Crooked Kingdom specifically, but I don't think that really influenced my overall feelings on the series. So again, you can check out that full review if you want to know more. As my overall likes, again, I did like the characters. They are compelling, they are interesting, they are diverse, and I believe that this series is very largely considered to be good representation of race, sexuality, and disability. Leigh Bardugo herself does have a disability, which so does the main character Kaz, so it is own voices in terms of that. I think that it's a great diverse cast and a diverse world, and truly diverse, because there are many characters of many different backgrounds. It's not just like you have this one token character, and I really loved the way in which Leigh built up her world, having these nations with just backgrounds of history between each other. It's a really complex and deep and rich world, so I did really enjoy that about it. And finally, I just really enjoyed the fun heist story. In both books, these characters are trying to pull off really impossible tasks, things that feel like there's no way they're going to be able to accomplish that. It was very exciting. For the most part, I really did enjoy the way in which information was revealed. There is a comparison that stands out to me in this book of another popular series, and I kind of hate to compare these two books. That other series is Throne of Glass, but I did want to kind of bring up the similarities here to give you guys kind of a recommendation. If you are reading the Throne of Glass series and you really like it, but you want a series that has more diversity in its characters, that has a very complex world as well. It is a fantasy series, has a bunch of characters from different backgrounds that are working together, and if you like the character of Aelin and how she seems to orchestrate things in the Throne of Glass series and always kind of has the upper hand, I think you would also really love Kaz from the Six of Crows series. So, you know, if you like the Throne of Glass series, this one could be one that you might enjoy too for those reasons. That is all I have to say on this duology. I really did enjoy it, and overall I would recommend it, although I didn't love every single thing about it, but I think it has a lot of great qualities. If you want to read this one, let me know, or if you have read it, let me know what you thought of it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the comments. Bye!